I got me a rock and roll band, it's a free-for-all. Baby, yeah, it's free-for-all.
Hello, freebies. Welcome back to the Free-for-All podcast. It's episode number 90, and all three of the boys are in studio on this Thursday morning. Coach Free, welcome back to Wichita Falls for the week, sir. What are you doing in town?
It's spring break for Baird CISD, so up here hanging out with my girls, and, it was cold at the beginning of the week, so I'm trying to get some golf in here towards the end of the week.
For clarification, your girls, your wife and your daughter.
Yep.
Not anything else.
No, wife and daughter.
Just putting it out there. That's all. My name is MJ, not Jordan nor Jackson. It's Baird, KFDX3 sports reporter. Alongside, we just talked to Coach Free, so I'm going to skip him. How about the man in the middle, the WFISD multimedia specialist, Mr. Chad Johnson? What's going on?
Well, I'm kind of the opposite of Grant. I'm back this week when my kids are on spring break.
Oh, so it's vice versa.
So we took a couple of days off, and I want you guys to know, well, more you, Grant, than MJ. So, I found that some of the shoes I had as a teenager, I should have kept.
Okay.
Because they have now re-released King Griffey Jr.'s shoes.
I've seen that.
$180.
Yep.
I had a pair just like them.
Okay.
They have now re-released Deion Sanders
Deion's,
shoes.
yeah.
I had a pair just like them, $180.
Yeah.
And then of course Jordans have never left. But I'm just like, I was showing these to my son, and I was like, man, I used to have a pair just like these. And I was like, he goes, man, you had some pretty cool stuff. I was like, yeah, but they didn't cost $180
No.
when I was
Not back then.
I had all the Jordans. I would work on getting those as they release. What kids don't understand, I was talking to my kids about this, is really in the Jordans, you had one color.
Yep.
And then when he came back after the first retirement, then he would release a playoff color.
Yep.
And that was it.
Interesting.
That was it.
Yep.
There was one colorway.
And every year would be a different style. They would do a little bit different style.
Change the style, but there was always a regular season color and then a postseason color, and that was it.
And it was kind of the same thing with the Deons and the Griffeys and for people, obviously I'm a big baseball fan, and I would say King Griffey Jr. is probably my all-time most favorite non-Ranger or Brave player.
Okay.
So I was a big and Deion Sanders goes against every athlete that I typically like, but I love Deion.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Look at you
His shoe
coming
had
around.
the strap. That's why I liked it.
yes.
So this is episode 90 of the Free-for-All. We're going to get into the 90 of it all here in just a second. But I've actually been a little sneaky today. I didn't tell you guys something.
Oh.
Right now, for the first time ever on the Free-for-All, we are live streaming to YouTube.
Oh wow!
Right now.
What does that mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a good thing that we didn't say cut or worse.
There would have been no going back, no editing this time around.
I don't know what that means. These are the things that I do know is this is only the second time this year that I've heard the theme song at the beginning of the
Does it help get
podcast.
the juices flowing a little bit better?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It almost blew my eardrum out. That's why I had to find the volume button.
Sorry about that, Coach Free. Essentially, all this means is that not only are we recording the show like we normally would, and it will air on the KFDX Plus app, and it will be posted to YouTube. Right now, if anyone's at home, in the car, whatever, and they pull up our YouTube channel, they could watch us live. They could comment live. Anything.
We're live.
Live, like live television live. So don't mess up.
What's the old Gary Miller from SportsCenter? We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
I'm freaking out.
Yeah, you should be. And I didn't give you any warning. Both of you guys, I didn't tell anyone I was doing this. I didn't know if it was going to work. It's a new in our system here with all my computers.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a new. Well, it's a feature we've always had, but we didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
So I did some research while we were off last week for spring break. I'm like, I want to get this off the ground. And here we are. Now we're live streaming on YouTube. So say hello to our YouTube audience, who's probably zero. But this is just a test run.
Hey, can we Facebook Live?
We can Facebook Live. We
That
cannot
might be
do
a future thing, and because people that scroll through Facebook.
Yes, we
Just
can't do
see
both
it.
at the same time,
Gotcha.
unfortunately. So it's one or the other. So if one works better, sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just thinking that might be a here as we discuss our game plan on air.
Yeah,
Because people just kind of scrolling through Facebook might see our ugly mugs and like,
My
what are they
mouth's
talking
just
about?
open.
And scroll
That's all
faster?
I was going to say. I don't,
Oh, what are those guys doing?
I
Scroll.
don't even know
scroll.
what y'all are talking about.
So I was gonna tell you, Grant. So a few weeks ago, we were in Galveston for a conference, and we did our WFISD podcast, and I joined in remotely.
Okay.
It's not easy. It's not easy not being in the room
You think? I've been doing it all year. Yeah.
because there's just a little bit of a delay. So
Yeah.
you start talking and then and then you don't hear yourself, or then it takes them a second to quit talking.
I've just learned that I have to not watch y'all. I just have to listen and talk.
Sure.
So that's the trick. Just
Yeah.
listen and talk.
Yeah, it is difficult. I give you props for doing it, and it's unfortunate that you don't get to hear the theme song every week because, like Chad said, it gives us that little extra juice
Really?
off the
Okay.
hop, you know.
Okay.
So anyway, okay, back to the 90 of it all, episode 90 in the world of sports. Honestly, my research, there wasn't a ton of 90s that stuck out. Coach Free, did anyone come to mind for you?
DeMarcus Lawrence is the only one I can think of. Congratulations to him on winning a Super Bowl this year with the Seattle Seahawks and not the Dallas Cowboys. But
did exactly what he said he was going to do.
I mean,
Yes.
hey, and he switched to 0. Isn't he 0 there?
He might have switched numbers, yeah.
Yeah, with the Cowboys, he was 90. I believe he was 0 there. I'm not totally sure. But
Sure.
anyways, that's the only one that popped into my head
So
immediately.
I had to do a Google search to come to. I was thinking it would be receivers, but that was a dumb because it's not receivers. It's the pass rushers and the DNs and stuff.
It is an eligible number, though.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, like, I don't know, the first person that came to mind was like, did Steve Smith wear 90? But then I Googled it and he didn't wear 90. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's not the receivers. But obviously, I think the big name in the NFL right now would be TJ Watt, wears 90.
Oh, okay, yeah. He'd probably be the best one as far as stats and everything goes.
Sure. Chad, you got any 90s?
So I'm going to take a left turn a little bit.
Okay.
Since there's so few 90s. Now, I did see Javon Curse on there. Javon Curse was a great.
The freak.
Yes, great football for Florida and then for the Titans. Since there's so few 90s, how about top athletes from 1990?
Oh, look at this guy expanding.
Obviously, we've already talked about a few of them. Dion, Michael Jordan, Griffey, Shaq, Penny Hardaway,
Penny.
Andre Agassi,
Okay.
Barry Sanders,
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky,
For
Wow,
the
that's a
record,
pretty good number.
I
and
was
Greg Norman.
not born in 1990. Just saying.
Oh man, the 90s. Somehow, I guess isn't it the trend right now, Dad? What were you like in the 90s? Like,
Yeah.
on somewhere, like, man, the 90s.
What
were
did I
so
see the
good.
other day that Pearl Harbor is closer to 1990 than we are to 1990.
Man,
Oh, like going the
90s
other way.
The 90s
yeah.
were amazing.
Yeah.
The
I was
90s were
born in the
amazing.
90s, but not 1990.
I was 15 years old in 1990.
Julius Peppers also wore number 90.
I'm not going to say how old I was.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
You
It's
weren't
okay.
15 because you're younger than I am.
Correct.
All right, before we go much further, let me take a moment here and thank our sponsor on the show. Of course, it's our friends over at Macaulay Landscapes. Patrick and the boys always supporting us. MacaulayLandscapes.com for everything you need. Lawn care, landscaping, irrigation repair, and so much more. Give them a call, 940-632-5346. Patrick and the guys will get you all hooked up with anything you need. The Free-for-All relies on Macaulay Landscapes, and you should too. Coach Free, I love having you in studio this week because I think this is kind of right up your alley as far as March Madness gets underway today as we record on Thursday. And I have a very simple question for you. Thursday and Friday, today and tomorrow, the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, are these not two of the best sports days of the entire year?
You know, we've talked about this before, and I do think, and I want to say this in the best way possible. I used to love these days more than any other because it coincided with spring break. You could watch from 10 a.m. in the morning all the way to 11 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. It's kind of lost some luster for me. It really has. It's not must-see TV for me anymore. And I don't know why. And I love that they show all the games now, but I think there was something
There was something about the whip around.
There was
Yeah.
something about the whip around that just kept you locked in, and then I don't know. It's just
You'd get frustrated with a game you couldn't watch, but you also didn't have to
Correct.
pick and choose. You could just have it on one channel and call it a day.
And I'm a noted hater of the NCAA, but I
Yes.
don't know that I love the model of the transfer, and really basketball is now one and dones for anybody that's worth anything. But you know what I missed this year? Like, I don't know if you guys noticed this. There was no like shock and awe about people who didn't get into the tournament. Have you noticed that? It has become very top heavy. and it kind of just lined itself out. And I would assume, last year was the first year we had 4 1s in the Final Four. I can see that happening again this year without talking about a bracket, but I can it's so top heavy that there are only 8 teams that literally can compete, and that's pretty much it.
I think the biggest conversation coming into this tournament was where would Miami of Ohio be, which is kind of and they're not going to win a national championship, but they were a team that had 1 loss, and that 1 loss was in their conference tournament. And people were talking about would they even make the tournament with 1 loss,
and then they put them in a first four game.
And then they beat SMU by 10. So clearly they are deserving of a tournament spot.
Yeah,
that was one that I had a little bit of a problem with, because especially as big as the NCAA tournament is, I don't care what conference you're in. If you play an entire season with 1 loss, that should get you in the big field.
And the other thing to wrap up answering your question, MJ, the first 4 games, the expanded field, the first 4 games kind of took it out of me. I don't love those play into the tournament.
Okay.
I think you do that in the conference tournament. I don't love how those are Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we're right into the tournament on Thursday. It's just become I don't pay attention till the second weekend kind of thing now.
I think I think all the play-in games should be at-large teams.
Say that again?
I think all the play-in games should be at-large teams.
Not somebody that's won.
In other words, you win a conference. Okay, maybe you're the 16th seed, but for those guys, that's almost like winning the national championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
The right to go get smoked by Kansas or Duke.
Yeah.
But to me, you win your conference championship, you should get put into the big field. Let those play-in games be like the other night that was Texas and NC State. Let those be the play-in games.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
Those
I don't hate
those
that.
borderline teams, let them be the play-in games for their right to get into the tournament.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know. It just hasn't become must-see TV for me anymore.
I agree.
Like, I will watch some today and some tomorrow, but not like I used to.
Interesting.
See, for me, the greatest day in sports is baseball opening day.
Okay, that's a good one.
I know. I probably don't have much agreement on this table, but that's my best day in sports. That Memorial Day, the Sunday before Memorial Day, when you've got the Indy 500 followed by NASCAR. Actually, you've got Formula One, Indy, and then NASCAR all kind of take over that day.
Okay. I love Sunday at the Masters.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I watch from the first time it comes on all the way
till
through.
it's done. Yeah.
When in the old when we were kids, bowl setup, when New Year's Day was, you knew that it was cotton, rose, sugar, orange. I mean, New Year's Day when in the old bowl setup was a great day.
Speaking of that, takes us to another topic. Must watch, like you are at your couch watching. It was the New Year's Six Bowl, and that's the way it is now for me. Any of the college football playoffs, I will generally, like divisional round football weekend, I will watch all of those games. Championship, Super Bowl, obviously.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm talking multiple things going on.
Right.
And then for me, it's every day of the Masters. And really, it's that week. You have the national championship game Monday night into I watch the par 3 contest on Wednesday, and then I watch every second of the Masters that's broadcast all the way through Sunday.
Have you ever watched? And this isn't a yearly thing, but there's an ESPN 30 for 30. In 1994, when it was all happening on the same day, the O.J. Chase, the NBA Finals, the start.
I remember sitting
Arnold Palmer's last round of golf. King Griffey Jr. I thought was on the home run race. I mean, there was something else too.
It was the Rockets. It was the
World
finals.
Cup, first game of the World Cup, NBA Finals.
Houston Rockets versus Knicks.
You talk about maybe the greatest day ever in sports, and I say greatest day, the biggest day ever in sports with so much happening.
I was at my grandparents' house watching the Rockets and the Knicks.
Wow.
When they broke in.
Well, this is kind of like a little a good aside, I guess, to our sports conversation here. It's a little bit of a spin-off of something Chad had sent to our group chat last week maybe or earlier in the week. Just one of those things you see on Twitter, right? It's like, if you could only watch A or B for the rest of your life, would it be A, which includes the Masters, the Stanley Cup Finals, the MLB postseason, the Kentucky Derby, and the College Football Playoff, or B, the NFL playoffs, the World Baseball Classic, NCAA March Madness, the NBA playoffs, and the FIFA World Cup? And Chad, you had a very strong response.
Well, I mean, my two favorite sports are professional baseball and college football. So for me, it was easy. Even though I love everything on the right side, for me, A is the easy answer. I mean, and I don't watch much NHL, but when I do watch the NHL, it's playoff season.
Sure.
So just having college football and MLB postseason, though, on the same side of that bracket does it for me.
Coach Free?
It's A for me because of the Masters in college football.
Yeah.
I would miss the NFL playoffs. I wouldn't miss March Madness. I wouldn't miss soccer. I wouldn't miss whatever that logo is up on the top right.
World Baseball Classic.
That thing. And NBA. Again, if you just put the Masters on the left and then everything else on the right,
Yeah.
I'd still pick the left.
Sure.
What about you, MJ?
Yeah, I'm definitely A if push came to shove. March Madness on the right is tough for me. Like NFL playoffs, okay, I'll skirt it a little bit and say, okay, if I can watch the regular season, like you're not taking football away from me. But March Madness, I really love these next 2 days, and I guess maybe it's as a younger person in school, it was like these 2 days were the best days. Like, oh, if your teacher had you booked in the computer lab
Oh, that was great.
for a project in social studies today, but you're really not doing social studies for that hour. You're streaming the games, and so I really do like March Madness. So it's tough there, but ultimately A for sure. I'm a big horse racing guy too. I love watching those 3 races, the big 3. So Kentucky Derby is just the cherry on top.
Can I ask this though?
Yeah.
I mean, I would actually rank Stanley Cup playoffs in there above some. Like, there's nothing like playoff hockey.
Agreed.
I just think it's wild, and I don't even know anything about hockey, and it's wild.
It is.
In postseason MLB, like kind of the same. Like I'm a noted non-baseball person, but I will tune into the playoffs.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, my clicker always finds the Kentucky Derby on that day.
Oh,
I don't know why.
watching.
You know what I
watching.
mean? Like,
I'm not a horse racing guy. I couldn't tell you much about it, but I watch the Kentucky Derby every year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And after driving around Churchill Downs, that is a massive facility.
It's nice, huh?
Really?
Massive.
Yeah.
I've been there,
facility.
but not for the race.
We were just when we were in Kentucky over the summer, just drove around the facility. We stayed about 5 miles away and drove around the facility. And it is, as somebody who's been to some NASCAR racetracks and stuff like that, it's right up there as far as size.
Sure, sure. One of the things on that graphic that recently just ended was the World Baseball Classic, and Chad, our noted baseball connoisseur, take us through your thoughts on the WBC this year, Chad.
Man, I love the World Baseball Classic. I think there's some things that could make it better. I mean, there's been some discussion about where do you have it in a season, because right now there's so many pitch restrictions. A lot of teams have, as an example, the United States couldn't use their closer for the championship game unless they had the lead, because the Padres were very clear that we do not want him pitching again unless it's a safe situation. So, there's some situations like that I'd like to see. Now, what is the solution? Maybe you do pool play in spring training and then move the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals to All-Star break week and not have an All-Star game that year. I don't know. I love how quickly it's caught on. It's not World Cup level.
Sure.
But, I mean, like you watch those Venezuela players when they won the other night. You can't tell me, I mean, the emotion in their eyes, which I know Venezuela as a country has had some stuff going on the last couple of years, last few months. But to see the tears in their eyes and stuff like that. And as a baseball fan, if you're asking me if I had to choose between the Rangers winning a World Series or the USA winning a World Baseball Classic, I'm still taking the Rangers to win the World Series.
Yep.
Because that's just more – I think most baseball fans would feel the same way.
Sure.
At least American baseball fans. I don't know how other countries feel, but how quickly the World Baseball Classic has caught on and the interest it's generated. I would like to see it become more of a I kind of joked, no offense to the Italian team, but the Italian team, as somebody put on Twitter, was as Italian as Olive Garden. And what I'm getting at, I mean, they were players with Italian heritage, but they were Americans with Italian heritage.
Sure.
So I'd like to see more, the Venezuelas of the world, the Puerto Ricos of the world, the Japans, that these guys, they were born there, they were raised there, Dominican Republic, and it means a lot to them. And like I say, just watching some of these teams, Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, as the top two as far as emotions, you could tell it meant something to those players.
I think you're on to I think you hit on something there in as you were talking about it that I would be more interested in. You talked about subbing it out for the All-Star game. Get rid of All-Star games. I'd rather see something like this in place of All-Star games because there's not any passion for All-Star games anymore. That's why really the NFL's come out of it. I think the NBA's is a joke, and MLB's kind of is as
Baseball's
well.
is still the truest to form, but I agree with you.
Yeah,
I mean, they a
it's
lot
not-
of
I'd rather
players
see
don't
this.
play in it, right?
Yeah, I'd rather see this. I'd rather see some version of this. I don't know how you do it. Like MLB's is and NBA's is in a break in the season. I don't know how you do that. NFL's is at the end, but I'd rather see some version of this, however you can figure it out, and make it because again, the All-Star Game's an exhibition. This is the greatest form of exhibition because there's competition involved in representing your nation or whatever that is.
I think you'd get
that's
more,
the way to go.
and I think you'd get more buy-in from players.
I agree.
Now
that's the key.
right. I mean, you look at, that right there, that graphic, Ronald Acuna Jr. playing for Venezuela. I mean, you're talking about, Shohei Ohtani was playing for Japan.
Yeah.
The American team, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper. I mean, you talk about the biggest names in baseball were all playing in this tournament. Whereas a lot of those guys, like you say, All-Star game, they're like,
I'd rather have the week off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I had an interesting conversation here with Tobin in the sports office the other day, and he was saying he had heard something on the radio. Basically, the gist of the conversation was, does it make it? How do I phrase this? So obviously we're early in the season, right? Pitchers have strict pitch limits. Basically, it was how fair is it for batters versus for hitters? And then you bring the Olympics into it. Is it, the Olympics is coming up in 2 years, right? And that's going to be like a mid-season. Can you take a break in the middle of the season? Is that fair to people? Like if you put the league on hold for 2 weeks, I guess just,
I think in baseball you could take a week.
Just a week?
Because now the All-Star break, they've made the All-Star break where it's not a full week.
5 days,
but
maybe?
it's you play Sunday and then nobody plays again till Friday. So you could add a couple of days to that. And I think in a week, I think that baseball is so much about timing, but I think you could take a week off. And if the entire league was off for a week, it would only take a day or two for them to kind of get their timing back. I think in March, right here before the season starts, so many hitters especially are just trying to get their timing down.
Yes.
And you hear a lot of hitters say that, for me, spring training is just about getting 25 or 30 at bats just to get my timing down. They're not really worried about, especially if it's a Corey Seager or something like that. They're not worried about results. They're just worried about getting enough at bats in to get their timing down. So I definitely think a March tournament like this absolutely favors the pitchers, even with pitch counts.
Yep.
Than it does hitters.
I'm sorry. We're talking about a sport that starts in February and ends in October.
Yes.
We can take 2 weeks off. 182 games. We can take 2 weeks
62.
off in the middle of whatever the number is.
Yeah.
NBA's too long anyway. They need to cut 10 games out of that anyways. There can be a 2 week, especially in those two sports where they are too long anyways.
Yeah.
Take a 2 week break, and I think you would see in a lot of these, what happens to a lot of these teams that are going with older players. They fizzle out because they're worn out, or they're not playing, and they're not playing in all of the games that they can. Not as big in baseball as it is in NBA, but you can for sure take 2 weeks off in the middle of both of those long stinking seasons for no reason.
I think the thing with baseball is not about. I think everybody would love the break. I think we can all agree here, and we've heard it many times. The hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a baseball.
Yeah.
Sure.
So taking 2 weeks off, I think it throws timing off so
Right.
much.
So
I think that's the
was-
biggest concern with taking 2 weeks off, not the break aspect of it. I think the break aspect of it, all players will be like, sweet, I love it.
Right.
But just the then coming back and getting your timing back, I think is the biggest issue.
I think the argument, that Tobin was hearing on the radio was, let's say next year or 2 years from now in the Olympics, whatever it is, let's say we take 2 weeks off in the middle of the season. I said, okay, great, let's take 2 weeks off, but we don't have to add those extra games on at the end.
100%.
Let's make it 142 that year instead of 162.
Let's make it every year.
But also,
There's been a movement to shorten the season to, I think it was 156, which is not a ton, but
6 games, yeah.
right. But the problem is the owners, that's revenue.
Of
Every
course
home
it is.
game is revenue.
Right.
So
But my thought was, okay, because I think the comparison was made to the Olympics and NHL. The guys who didn't play, where they had a, quote, disadvantage because now they got to ramp back up, after having 2 weeks off. And Tobin, again said to me, this is what I heard, what do you think? And I'm like, okay, well, 2 weeks off, is that enough to really, quote unquote, ramp down? I don't know that it is, but also B, don't go sit on the couch for 2 weeks. You still got to throw your bullpen. A pitcher misses 1, maybe 2 starts, fine. fine.
See, I think a
professional
pitcher,
athletes.
and
They're
I
not
think
going to shut down.
Right.
And I think a pitcher can stay on track, like you say, just by throwing every 5 or 6 days
Sure.
or whatever. I think the biggest concern would just be hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, and that being because you can't replicate. Yeah, you can go hit in a cage, but you can't replicate
Live pitching.
98 miles an hour and curveballs and all of that stuff.
But here, shocker, news alert, they don't shut down even in the offseason.
Right.
They don't shut fully down even in the offseason.
Right.
I mean, high school athletes don't shut down.
And that's where sports as a whole have changed over the last 25 years. And I mean, you'll hear baseball players all the time like, how do you prep? Well, I'll take a couple of weeks off, but then I'm right back to getting ready for the season.
And
start.
to talk about the revenue thing, baseball is just a different animal because it was so regionally done. No, but there's the national TV media deals are not the same as they are in other sports because they tried to do this regional crap and they don't have enough money that comes in from that. But all these other sports, that's 90% of their revenue comes from TV money, not from people walking their butts into the stands. So lowering the games doesn't affect them any. Like lowering the number of games, the primary source of income is through that TV money. Baseball a little bit different, but they need to get to some sort of TV.
That's what they're trying to do right now. There was so
Figure
much.
it out anyways.
They were kind of first in the game of the regional sports networks.
Yes.
Who at the time were giving out
And then that
ridiculous amounts
that
of money.
ended great.
Yeah, yeah. But at the time, they're sitting. I mean, I think the Rangers signed
Fox
a 20.
Sports Southwest.
Yeah, I think who still owes Grant money?
Still owes them money.
I think the Rangers signed a 20.
Valleys.
I think the Rangers signed a 20-year, $1 billion contract
Sure.
when all that
Yeah.
money was flowing.
Again.
That's one thing they're trying to do now is consolidate it into more of a national.
And that's the thing. I think baseball has figured their game out a little bit more. They've compressed it. They've sped it up. They've done all these things. Now they got to figure out the TV side of it. But it's got to come down. My goodness, you can't pay. It's like I always say to you jokingly on this podcast. Like, are we in September yet? Like, this is the longest season in the history of the world, and NBA's kind of the same too. It needs to start at Christmas, not in October. Like, that's idiotic that they're playing all those games before. There is no reason to have all those games.
While we're talking baseball, that'll take us into our trademark segment for the week. What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Always a very good question. Chad, you sent this one in the group
Yes,
chat
I
as
love
well.
it.
This was from a college baseball game, Georgia versus Tennessee. And look, we were talking World Baseball Classic and all these international teams, the Dominican, Venezuela, they were really pimping home runs, throwing their bats, loving it.
Love it.
And I'm thinking maybe the college kids tried to catch on and,
if you're gonna pimp it,
It better go out.
it better go out.
well, guess what? This one did not. Tennessee Volunteer at the plate, swinging a drive, high and deep. Hammers the bat at the ground, points to the dugout, hits his heart. Look at this dinger. Not robbed in left fields. That is tough.
I mean, it better be 40 feet over the fence.
That was going to be a game winner too, wasn't it?
Maybe.
I think slam that thing, big dog. Point. There you go. Yeah, hit that chest.
I don't think it was game winner, but I think it was giving them the lead.
Okay.
If I'm
that
not
thing
mistaken.
better have been over those trees.
Oh no.
So
What are we doing?
one of the greatest baseball movies of all time is Major League.
Yep.
One of the worst baseball movies of all time is Major League
Major
2.
League 2.
But there's a scene in Major League 2 where Willie Mays Hayes does that,
Yeah.
and the ball gets caught at the wall.
Yeah. That is tough.
That one was bad, man. He slammed it. He pointed.
Yeah,
he hit
he's
his
like-
chest. Let's go, big dog.
Let's see that one more time.
Yeah, you might want to hit the weight room.
Yeah. Warning track power.
Come on, bro.
He's so convinced.
Yes.
I wonder if it was windy or what, but even the guy on deck.
Even
See the guy on
And
deck.
see,
Look at
if
that. I
he
don't
hits
see
it
a
out-
tree moving.
If he hits it out, I don't have a problem with that. I don't like showing up the other team.
Yes.
But to me, you're celebrating with your players and your teammates because he's pointing at his dugout. Everything is to his dugout, but it still better go out.
It better go out. Oh, goodness
That's like
gracious.
that.
yeah,
that
hit
to
that
me,
chest, big dog.
that to me is the same thing as the guy celebrating the touchdown and letting go of the football at the 1 yard line.
Sure, sure.
Which that's stupider than that. That might be the stupidest thing that ever happens.
What are we doing, man? That's a bad look. It's a bad look. Coach could not have been too
The
happy.
dude going in for the celebratory dunk and he gets blocked by the rim.
Sure, sure. Yeah. All right, well, let's turn our focus to football a little bit. The new league year started last week. free agent deals buzzing back and forth, a couple of trades. Coach Free, I'm going to pull up the Dallas Cowboys free agent tracker here, see if I can get the full screen for us. And I kind of just want to get your thoughts on the Cowboys and what they've done so far. So I'm going to scroll through this. You tell me where to stop if any of these names kind of catch your eye. Safety, Jalen Thompson. Cornerback, Kobe Durant. Sam Williams re-upping as a defensive end. Otito Ogbonya, a defensive tackle. Safety, PJ Locke. They brought in a backup quarterback in Sam Howell, the veteran. O-lineman, Matt Hennessy. That's just the free agent guys. That doesn't include the trade for Rashawn Gary.
Let me say this about what the Cowboys are doing. They're moving, their scheme moving on defense. So they're from a 3-4 to a 4-2-5. So a lot of what you see here is building out a different style of defense than what they previously had. And we've talked about this on this podcast, how, man, it is very different moving from an odd front to an even front, especially to a 4-2-5 base. So that's an extra. That's basically you're subbing out a linebacker for a nickel corner that's constantly on the field. So that can be an extra safety, that can be an extra corner. It's kind of how you look at it.
Okay.
What's most intriguing to me is they still are a little bit thin. Well, they're a lot of bit thin in the linebacker room, but you only got 2 of them on the field in the 4-2-5 scheme, so they're not as bad as what people think. But I still don't think you have an edge. I still think you're thin at the edge room, so that's the defensive end in the 4-2-5 scheme. I really think you need another secondary person. I mean, if you're going from 4 secondary people to 5 as your base, you better just have a room full of them.
Sure.
And I'm just interested in now all of this is going to come through the draft, and they've got 2 first-round picks. They don't have a second, but they have a third now. I mean, I think your need is greater than your ability to fill them right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Do you possibly use one of those first-round picks to pick up more second-round or third-round picks?
I think it depends on who's on the board. I really do.
Okay.
Because
right now the Cowboys are obviously the Cowboys need players on defense, but they need multiple players on defense.
Correct. I think you're at 12 and 20 in the first round. 12, you've got to get the best combination of edge, safety, or linebacker sitting there. But here's the thing. The difference in you can pick up the equivalent of a linebacker even all the way back to the third.
Right.
The difference in the safety and edge from 12 to even 20 is considerable. There's a difference in Caleb Downs to the next best safety. There's a difference in the David Baileys and that group of the world in the edge to even 20th. So I think if you're sitting there at 12 and Caleb Downs is off the board, the group of David Bailey and that first group of edges is off the board already. I do think, Chad, what you said, I think you trade back for more picks.
Because the NFL, especially more than any other sport, you're drafting in the 3rd or 4th round, and you're drafting for guys that maybe you're not expecting to start right away, but you're expecting to start within 2 or 3 years.
Will contribute.
So, and that's always been my question. Sometimes is it more important to get that one player or to potentially turn that one player into 3 players?
That 3rd round pick, you can pick an inside backer that can start for you next year.
So
but you cannot pick an edge in that 3rd round pick or a safety that can start for you next year.
So
I see what you're saying.
So, and this is a question that I don't know the answer to because I haven't been following it that much. Is Max Crosby still on the block, or is he settled in back with Oakland now that the Ravens
Vegas?
Yes, the Raiders. I'm sorry. Now that the Ravens reject or stopped his trade,
I think he's done, especially unless there's just somebody sitting out there that's going to come back in with one first round pick, because basically he's
not getting 2 picks right now.
The Raiders lost control of his price tag, and so for them, keeping the asset is better than they don't have control of his market value anymore.
Let me ask you this, Coach Free, and this is just a random Yahoo Sports mock draft. I just Googled 2026 mock draft. But at 12, this person has an edge from Auburn named Keldrick Falk. But here's what's interesting to me is this part I highlighted. Caught in between tiers with cornerback and linebacker prospects, the Cowboys add the intriguing Falk to their defensive line. Can you explain what he's trying to say when he says caught between tiers? Because I think you were going down that road.
Exactly what I just said.
Right.
Yes. So whenever you're drafted, especially here, you've got to judge what's the level of again, they have 3 needs: edge, inside linebacker, and secondary help. And so based on the picks that I have, where does the cliff fall off in that room?
Sure.
So I guess what they're saying here is the drop off is monumental in the secondary and inside.
Can you go back to that a
inside
second,
backer
MJ?
Yes, I can.
room, and this is the best of what's there.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
And this is, once again, me not being the biggest draft expert in the world. But at 12, do you want to read at 12 still a work in progress? And high-end traits, to me, high-end traits means he's got a high ceiling, but he could also be somebody that completely flops.
I think you're looking at the wrong part of it, though. A work in progress, rushing the passer. Like that, we need somebody who can rush the passer. Rashawn Gary and your other edge, that's not their strength. They're kind of good, average defensive ends. We need somebody elite to get after the passer. That needs to be their strength. Like, and so if basically Keldrick Fogg looks to me like Rashawn Gary and somebody else, you need a specialist like Jadeveon Clowney. He wasn't going to stop the run. He's going to get after the court. That's he's a one-trick pony. And so like that's his deal. That's what we need. We don't have, I don't think you draft a developmental project at 12. You got to draft a sure thing at 12.
Sure.
You really got to draft a sure thing at 20 as well. They've got to be immediate starters because you've got 5 years with them as a first-round grade. You've got to plug somebody in that's going to start for 5 years.
Well, and I guess that's my question. If you're taking somebody like that who still has work to do,
Yeah, I don't
and
like
that's
that
your
pick
best
there.
available player, if that's your best available
Trade
player,
out of it.
And I guess that's my question.
Yes.
If you like that guy with what that reads to me, that's a guy you could probably get at 20.
But see, I think we're looking at it the wrong way. I do think there's a big drop-off in edge and secondary and even inside backer because I think you got a Sonny Styles and then I think you got Caleb Downs in the safety room and then I think there's a little bit of collection of like the David Baileys. There's a couple others. I think you trade up in this draft.
Interesting.
I think you
Okay.
go get that person because they're not going to fall to you at 12. I just don't see them falling to you at 12.
Well, let's go look. Let's see.
Where
who
does
this
that
guy
have
is.
a guy like Bailey going?
That's what I'm
just out of
saying
curiosity?
is I think you go up and get them instead of down.
Interesting.
Ruben Bain I like out of Miami. The other kid out of Miami, 7, that safety Caleb Downs there he is.
Sorry about the ads, by the way.
No, you're
Just
fine.
scrolling Yahoo here.
I needed some new Bandolino women's.
Jeremiah
jerseys.
Love there. Wow. David Bailey at 4.
I've seen Jeremiah Love on a lot of mocks.
See,
a
and
top
there's Sonny
5
Styles. There's your Sonny Styles. So your 3, these are like again,
So
Sonny
this is the
Styles.
tiers. This is the tiers, right?
Top end, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Arvell Reese up there, linebacker edge kind of combo. Like you've either got to get up into the top 10 or you got to get out.
Interesting.
Arvell Reese at 2. Wow.
Again, this is just some guy. What is this guy's name? We'll give him credit.
No, that's fine.
Nate
but
Tice and Charles McDonough.
See, if I'm the Raiders, even I'm not sure that I don't trade that first pick.
Sure, right.
And no knock on Mendoza, but I just don't know. I don't know if Mendoza's is your franchise quarterback.
We'll see.
yeah, their problem is they in free agency and trades went all in on everybody else except the quarterback, so they need a cheap quarterback.
Yeah. And rookie is a cheap quarterback for 5 years,
Rookie's
right?
the cheapest you got.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, well, the NFL draft is what, April 20-something? So obviously a lot more in the next month between now and then that we get to chat about. And Jerry said this offseason he was willing to, quote, what did he say, mortgage the future?
Shut up, Jerry.
That's what he said.
My gosh, mortgage. Just draft people that fit the scheme and be competitive. Because here's the thing, I really think it's the first time I've liked that they've actually allowed them to instead of chasing people who don't fit a scheme, they've actually drafted for the scheme, not drafted, gone after people.
Hey,
for
added,
the
yep.
scheme.
Jerry's all in, but he's busy. I mean,
Yeah.
he put on a great IndyCar race this
He
weekend.
sure did. Kind of cool to see the cars kind of,
Did you guys watch any of that, by the way?
just the highlights.
What's IndyCar?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It was. I mean, so Christy and I were down there last Monday, and like just drive like you drive down the street, and you're like, oh, I'm on the racetrack. Well, they didn't have it blocked off. You weren't supposed to be on the street, so it was literally just like you went down one block.
Oh, you got in the race? What?
Yeah, we were in the race. Yeah.
See, I could see.
There was, as I
I
was
would
watching,
pay attention to
as
that.
I was watching the race and watching them go 190 miles an hour between the ballparks.
Chad's in the race. Go, Chad.
Yeah,
There
I'm
he
like,
is, right there.
They're going 190 miles an hour. I mean, I'm thinking, how cool would it be to go 190 miles an hour down Randall Mill Road right
Yeah,
there?
that's the turn right in
I've
front of
gone
Globe Life. That's Globe
120
Life
miles
Field.
an hour down
right there
Randall Mill Road.
on the right side. How cool is that?
But I mean, as an event, I mean, it was a pretty cool event, and to see, I mean, how they set that all up around Globe Life Field and
There it is.
AT&T Stadium.
Hey, that's where we
and-
go in for our
Yes.
seats, right
That's
there.
right, yeah.
Exactly.
That's our parking lot right there to the right.
Do you go that fast, Coach Free, when you're pulling up to
Sometimes
the
if I'm
game?
late, I whip it around that thing.
Yeah, this was really cool. The street race. I didn't watch it live, but I did check out the highlights. I don't know, Chad, you would know better than me.
Hey, you're coming up on our tailgate spot, buddy. Zoom by. Don't park at Walmart. You'll get towed.
Yeah, you will. Did it get okay reviews as far as like a race?
So the drivers.
There it is, right there. There's our tailgate spot.
Yep, there it went. That's Rudy Hawkins set up with his tailgate right
Yeah,
there.
don't park at that Walmart.
Oh goodness.
So I mean, the drivers as a whole said it was one of their favorite race. It was one of, if not their favorite road course, it was right up there. And it was, there's been a lot of talk about why are they doing this when they can go to Texas Motor Speedway. Well, the IndyCar race at Texas Motor Speedway wasn't getting. I mean, I think they were probably getting 50 or 60,000 people, which sounds like a decent. It is a decent crowd, but it's not. They said this was sold out, and they were estimating upwards of 80,000 people there.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you can put a street course in Arlington and get 80,000 people and sell it out and have a little more of an atmosphere, and like I say, and all the drivers talked about how they loved, because typically you're not going close to 200 miles an hour on a road course, but they have that long little stretch where they're pushing 200 miles an hour, and
That's
as
cool.
a whole, it sounded like the drivers really liked it.
That's really cool. Yeah.
That was on Sunday. They actually had to move the race up because when Lubbock came in about 3:00.
Who you telling? I had just got here and I was like, man, happy spring break.
Yeah, right? Right? A little windy. I guess let's end on local stuff real quick because I forgot to touch it at the beginning. High school soccer playoffs, Chad. What's new in the WFISD?
Memorial girls play at home this evening, 5 p.m. So if you're watching us live, go out to Memorial Stadium, 5 p.m. The other three schools play a triple header tomorrow in Amarillo, which will be live streamed on, I believe it was Panhandle Sports Network or something like that.
Okay.
Texas Panhandle Sports Network. But Legacy boys play at noon. Memorial boys play at 2:30. Legacy girls play at 5. No, that's not right.
Yes, it is.
Legacy girls play at noon. Legacy boys play at 5.
Oh, okay. Got that. All at Dick Bivens Stadium.
All at Dick Bivens Stadium. We had 4 coin flips this week, won one of them.
1 for 4.
Wow.
So
25%.
and apparently Coach Woodard, who never wins coin flips, I guess, won a coin flip. So
So you know who he works for.
Coach Holly was trying to convince people, because Coach Holly's never lost at Garnett Field. He was trying to convince people to let him flip Garnett Field.
He has to stop telling that. He just has to just be vague.
Yes.
He's got to be vague. By the way, in our 20-team soccer district down in the Hill Country,
Yeah.
Burnett Lady Bulldogs, district champs.
Let's go.
Go to Hutto Field tomorrow night to take on Lake Creek, I believe. Lake Creek. I'm still learning my school's
Is
Yes.
that Hippo Stadium?
The Hippo Stadium. There's a huge hippopotamus outside.
What?
Of that? Yep, the Hutto Hippos. But yeah, we were district champs. We went undefeated in district, just so you
Attaboy.
know. And literally, we talked about this before. There were literally 20 teams in our
Yeah.
soccer district. We actually started district play game 1.
I remember pulling the UIL alignment up, and I
Yeah.
had never seen anything like that.
Boys got 5th off of points. We finished like 2nd in like win-loss, but points.
Hey MJ, a new show starter when we run out of names we can do is pull your Texas sport or high school sports almanac or whatever that has all the teams in it.
Yeah.
And we can do mascot. We can guess mascot names.
Yeah.
We could do 2 or 3 every week. I think Grant would do a pretty good
I think
job.
he
My
would too.
father-in-law has mascot names and fight songs down.
So one of our old weekend sports guys, Ricardo LeCompte here, he and I used to, Tobin would get that little book out and we would guess 5 or 6 every day. It was a fun little game
hammer
we
them,
could
yeah.
do. But the funny thing with Hutto is, I guess Hutto's looking into building. I guess it's in their school board policy or whatever. If they add high schools, Hippo has to be a part of the name.
Yep, the
in
second.
every one of their new high schools.
So good friend Jeannie Jeannie Netherland, who just got married, shout out. She's the superintendent there. They are opening their second high school in 2 years, and it will somehow have hippos in the name. So I'm interested. I've asked her if it's going to be Hungry Hungry.
Oh, that'd be good.
What they will be. But yeah, opening high school number 2.
Oh, where do you go to school? Hungry Hungry Hippo?
What's your fight song?
They could be Hippopotamus High School.
All right.
Good.
Quick Google search just to kick this off, Chad. Well, these are kind of common ones that I would know. I want one that I wouldn't know.
What is Louisville? Do you know what Louisville is?
Fighting Farmers.
That's a good one.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The Wellington. You should know Wellington.
Skyrockets.
Yes.
Yes, I know Wellington.
There's some good ones in
Greg
Texas.
Profit.
How about
head football coach, junior.
Mason.
Shout out.
Mason.
Punchers.
Punchers? Is that right? They're
Yes.
they're really good at
They
tennis.
play in the Puncher Dome.
Yep. Which is being renovated, I believe.
Correct.
How about I've never heard of this town. Calhoun, Texas.
Bulldogs.
No, not according to Google. Can't trust AI though. So hold on, let me.
Cougars.
Never heard of Calhoun. I've heard of Corpus Christi.
Oh, maybe is that who it is? I don't know. Anyway, they are the Calhoun Fighting Sand Crabs,
Oh, wow. Okay.
according to the Google.
They must be down in the valley.
Quero High School.
Gobblers.
Yes, good. Oh, Mason is right there. I could have cheated and I didn't even realize it. Yeah. I know. Obviously, I've heard of Roscoe, the Plowboys.
Plowboys.
I didn't know, Coach Free.
Jake Freeman, shout out.
This is down in your area, New Braunfels.
Unicorns.
Yeah, that's a good
Cliff
one.
Kingsbury, shout out.
Oh, how about that?
That's where he went to high school.
Anyway, so yeah, that's a good one, Chad. I'll have to pull that book out. I don't know where it is though. It's
in
somewhere.
there.
It's in the sports office somewhere. So, all right, let me go back to the rundown. Make sure we're not missing anything. I don't think so.
Opening day in a week.
Oh, opening day is in a
Opening
week.
day in a week.
We talked about college basketball. I meant to do national championship predictions or Final Four predictions. You guys certainly filled out a bracket, right?
No.
I've got 2 brackets.
You didn't fill out a bracket, Coach
I
Free?
stopped filling out brackets about 10 years ago.
Oh, darn it.
Grant fills it out after the fact and tells everybody it was perfect.
That's right.
Okay, well,
Who's in it?
Here are the 1 seeds: Duke, Michigan, Arizona, and who's bottom left? Florida.
Okay.
2 seeds are Houston, UConn. I'm doing this off of memory.
Arizona wins it.
Arizona. Okay.
I've got Arizona beating Kansas in one of mine. And I've got Duke beating Arizona in the other one.
Okay. I got Michigan. Tobin's going to like me for that one. I got some.
One of my
some
Final
bonus
Fours
points.
is Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Houston. My other Final Four is
That's three 1s and a 2.
Kansas, UConn, Arizona, Purdue.
Ooh, Purdue's a what? A 3?
A 2.
Purdue's a 2. Okay.
I've got them beating BYU in the Elite Eight.
Where did Purdue come from? Didn't they win the Big Ten?
The Boilermakers.
I believe so.
Okay.
And Purdue is kind of notorious for getting upset in the first round.
I haven't even watched one highlight of college basketball this year. Not even one highlight. Not even a game. Not a second of a game. I haven't watched one highlight.
I've been intrigued a little bit watching Texas only because when we had the regional tournament here a few years ago, the kid from Mansfield Timberview, Weaver,
Oh, yeah.
is now playing for Texas.
Okay.
So it's cool to see some of these kids that came in for our regional tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
And because I don't think he started at Texas. I don't remember where he started, but he's playing big minutes at
Okay.
Texas now. So
Let's go.
Good deal.
Played in the K. Yeager Center.
Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Center.
if I'm not mistaken, I think he may have been the regional MVP that year.
Impressive.
I don't remember.
There's another one of the Hauser kids, I think was his name, Hauser.
Yeah.
He's
HAU,
playing for High
SER.
Point University.
Yeah.
And
Are
another
they in
one-
the tournament?
Yeah, they're playing Wisconsin.
Amarillo
round
High
one.
kid.
Yep.
Yep.
I was officiating fights between coaches generally in the regional tournament.
And that was in the women's tournament.
Yes, it was.
Hey,
it was.
feistiness.
Yes, it was.
I guess basketball's coming back to the KYC. Do you know that, Coach Free? Not high school?
The Net Burners.
Wichita Falls Net Burners,
What's
professional
that?
team. Semi-pro, ABA.
I think it's ABA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And we're also getting a collegiate summer bat league.
I'll believe that when
Wood
I
bat.
see it. They only called me every year to negotiate that.
Only every year?
It looks
Only
like
every year
I will
that
say
I was
it
the
looks
athletic
like this one this one looks like it has a little more legs than some of the other ones I've had. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see.
Okay.
That's all we got. Let me thank our sponsor again. It's our friends over at Macaulay Landscapes, proudly serving Wichita Falls for more than 20 years now. Their services include lawn maintenance, landscaping, irrigation repair, and so much more. Visit them online, MacaulayLandscapes.com. That's MCCAULEY Landscapes.com. Or you can pick up the phone, give them a call, 940-632-5346. The Free for All relies on Macaulay Landscapes, and you should too.
I expect MJ to have a jingle for Macaulay Landscapes by the next podcast.
I could do a little AI generated something, Here's how you can follow us on these social medias. As you know, I talked about, we tested our YouTube Live today. It worked, and I think we had a whopping 0 viewers. But that's because I didn't publicize the link either. I just kind of tested it. So that's going to be something we continue to look into. Chad brought up a good idea, Facebook Live. So all that to say, make sure you're following us on the socials. Facebook, it's the Free for All Pod. On YouTube, at Free4All_pod. And then on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Free4All_pod as well. Happy to report, by the way, our subscriber count has gone up. Thank you to everyone who listened and subscribed. We have grown from 15 2 weeks ago all the way up to 19.
We have one viewer.
We have one viewer. Is it Chad?
It may be
It's
me.
Chad right now. Yes.
Chad.
Yeah, but I didn't push the link out there because I want to make sure it worked first. But it did. It did. It was great. So shout out to that. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have here? Thanks to Coach Free for being here in studio. When do you head back to Burnett, Coach Free?
Whenever I'm told.
Whenever you're told. Understood.
When his wife is like, I'm done with you,
See ya.
we'll see you at Easter.
The reason I asked the question is I'm probably going to be back and forth to Austin over the next couple of months with
on.
state championships and stuff, so I will pack the golf clubs.
Yes,
We'll have
sir.
to get out
When
there.
is the state barbecue championship?
May something?
Yeah, it's like first week of May, I believe. Again, open invite. That would be perfect. Free for all from the state barbecuing.
Oh my goodness.
Chad and I and MJ will be
That would be
shouldn't
something.
wear white.
honorary
Don't
judges.
wear white. Don't wear white. No.
I can't wait.
Oh, man.
I can't wait. I
Fantastic.
can't wait. I'm telling you, I can't wait.
I'm excited too.
Yeah, pack the golf clubs. Come Delaware Springs. Shout out. Looking good. We're looking real good.
Delaware. Oh, is that the name of the course?
Yeah, that's the one that that's where I'm a member of, Delaware Springs.
Delaware Springs Golf Club.
But there are obviously like 15 golf courses within 10
Yeah,
minutes.
of
that
course
are
there is in the
PGA
Hill
rated,
Country.
so.
Absolutely. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us. This has been episode number 90 of the Free for All. We're looking forward to seeing you back here next week for episode number 91. Great to have Coach Free in studio this week. Next week, he'll be back joining us remotely. Shout out Microsoft Teams. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. Follow us on all the social medias, and we'll see you back here next week for episode number 91. Take care.